Have you ever walked into the kitchen, then stood there wondering why you came in, or sat down to read a newspaper, only to realize you've read the same sentence 3 times without taking in a word? If that sounds familiar, you're not alone. And no, it doesn't mean you're losing your memory. It's something much gentler than that. It's your brain quietly saying, I'm tired. But not because I'm old, because I'm hungry for the right kind of fuel. In today's video, we're going to talk about 3 simple, natural foods that help your brain feel sharper, calmer, and more focused, without sugar, without pills, and without needing to change your whole life. Let's start with a true story, one that might remind you of someone you love, or maybe even yourself. Let me tell you a story about Mr. Tom, a 72-year-old gentleman who never liked fish. Not a day in his life did he want to taste what he called that smelly stuff. Over the years, he avoided it altogether because he thought it was too much hassle to prepare. But recently, something began to change. The books he once enjoyed reading started to feel heavy, and even his favorite crossword puzzles left him feeling frustrated. Words seemed to slip away right before his eyes. One afternoon, his daughter sat down with him and gently said, "Dad, why don't you try adding a little salmon to your meals twice a week?" At first, Mr. Tom was skeptical. He doubted that a simple change could make any difference. But, trusting his daughter's caring advice, he decided to give it a try. Soon enough, after only a couple of weeks, Mr. Tom started noticing a subtle improvement. It was as if the lights in his mind were staying on a little longer. His thoughts became crisper, and he even found it easier to recall simple details. The fog that had been slowly settling over his afternoons began to lift. You see, fish like salmon, sardines, or mackerel are packed with something called DHA. DHA is an omega-3 fatty acid that plays a very important role in your brain. It acts like a language that helps your nerve cells communicate clearly, supports smooth blood flow, and helps reduce inflammation. As we grow older, our natural DHA levels tend to decline, and that's when the signs of mental fog start to creep in. That's why just 2 servings per week of baked or grilled salmon, simply seasoned with a little lemon and olive oil, can provide your brain with the support it needs. And if you're not a fan of fish, there are high-quality omega-3 supplements available. These can be paired with nutrient-rich leafy greens to give your brain an extra boost. Imagine that. By making one small change to your dinner routine, you could help your brain stay sharper and more alert. It's a simple, natural way to feed your mind the kind of fuel it's been quietly asking for. Every morning, Sarah, 65, followed the same routine. A slice of toast, a cup of coffee, maybe a granola bar if she felt a little extra hungry. It was simple, familiar, and easy. But by mid-morning, around 10 a.m., she would feel her energy dip, her eyes would get heavy, her focus would drift. At first, she thought maybe it was poor sleep, or just part of aging. But then, one quiet morning, her granddaughter looked up and asked, "Grandma, why do you always look sleepy after your snack?" That innocent question stuck with her. The next day, instead of reaching for her usual bar, she opened the fridge and grabbed a small handful of blueberries. Just a few, nothing fancy. She tossed them onto her oatmeal and went about her day. By the end of the week, something had shifted. She noticed she could read longer without losing focus. Conversations flowed easier. She even finished her crossword puzzle without zoning out halfway through. The difference felt subtle, but real. Blueberries, especially wild ones, are rich in a special group of plant nutrients called flavonoids, and one type in particular, anthocyanins, stands out. These compounds improve blood flow to key areas of the brain responsible for memory and concentration. In fact, a Harvard study found that older adults who regularly ate blueberries had better memory recall and experienced slower cognitive decline well into their 70s and 80s. Unlike sugary snacks that give a quick boost followed by a crash, blueberries work gently. They don't spike your blood sugar. Instead, they nourish your brain slowly and steadily, helping you stay focused without feeling jittery or drained. So, how can you try it? It's simple. Add a handful of blueberries to your oatmeal in the morning, mix them into yogurt, or enjoy them with a couple of scrambled eggs. If fresh ones aren't available in your area, don't worry, frozen blueberries work just as well, and they may even keep more of their nutrients. It's not about being perfect, it's about being consistent. Just like Sarah, you might be surprised how something so small can make such a big difference in how clearly you think and how present you feel. Claire was a retired school teacher who used to fly through crossword puzzles like a breeze. Wordplay was her thing. She loved the challenge. But lately, something felt off. She'd read a clue, pause, and then move on without even trying. Not because she didn't know the answer, but because her mind felt like it just wouldn't lock in. It wasn't scary, just frustrating. She wasn't looking for another bottle of supplements. She didn't want to change her whole routine. But one afternoon, while reading a magazine at her kitchen table, she stumbled across a short article, "Walnuts May Support Mental Focus." It felt too simple to be real, but she figured, why not? The next morning, she added a small handful, about 7 walnuts, next to her usual breakfast. Some days, she tossed them into her yogurt. Other days, just ate them as they were. After a couple of weeks, Claire noticed something strange. She wasn't necessarily thinking faster, but her thoughts had more grip. The clues didn't feel slippery anymore. Her brain felt steady, like her focus had found its footing again. There's real science behind what Claire experienced. Walnuts are one of the very few nuts that contain plant-based omega-3s, specifically DHA, which is the same kind of nutrient you find in fatty fish. DHA helps keep brain cell membranes strong and communication between neurons smooth and responsive. But walnuts don't stop there. They're also rich in polyphenols, which are powerful antioxidants, and vitamin E, known for its ability to protect cells from damage. Together, these nutrients help reduce inflammation in the brain, improve blood circulation, and protect key areas like the hippocampus, the center of memory and learning. You don't need a lot. Just 7 to 10 whole walnuts a day is enough. Eat them with your breakfast, mix them into your oatmeal, or swap them for that afternoon cookie or snack bar. It's one of the quietest, gentlest ways to support your mind, not by pushing it harder, but by giving it a soft place to land. Sometimes, clarity doesn't come from doing more. It comes from choosing one simple thing, again and again, with care. Each of these foods, salmon, blueberries, and walnuts, has its own quiet strength. On their own, they each support your brain in a unique way. But when you bring them together, that's when the magic really happens. We like to call it the morning clarity combo, a gentle way to wake up your brain and give it exactly what it needs to stay sharp throughout the day. You're not just fueling your body, you're feeding your focus, your memory, and even your mood. Picture this, a plate with a piece of grilled salmon, seasoned simply with lemon and olive oil. Next to it, a spinach salad topped with a few blueberries and crushed walnuts. It's light, energizing, and full of the right kind of fats and antioxidants your brain loves. Or, if you prefer something simpler, try this smoothie, a splash of unsweetened almond milk, a handful of frozen blueberries, a spoonful of oats, and a few walnuts blended together. Creamy, satisfying, and easy to digest. You don't need to prepare a fancy brunch every morning. Even rotating these foods throughout your week can make a real difference. The key is consistency, showing up for your brain the way it shows up for you every day, even when you're tired. Start small, start simple. Let your breakfast be the beginning of a clearer, steadier day. You don't have to change everything overnight. Just start with one. Pick one food, maybe salmon, maybe blueberries, and add it to your routine for 7 days. That's it. And while you're at it, pay attention. Are you falling asleep a little easier? Waking up more refreshed? Do conversations feel smoother? Or names come back to you faster? Even the smallest shift is a sign that your brain is responding, quietly, gratefully. Now, I'd love to hear from you. Which of these 3 will you try first? Leave a comment below that says clearer mind if you've ever felt that mental fog begin to lift. And if you've got a tip, a favorite recipe, or a story about how one of these foods helped you think more clearly, please share it. Your words could be the exact encouragement someone else needs to begin their own journey.